Coach John here. This is about protein and why it's so important. So you've probably heard me, or at least seen me write about protein several times. And here we are talking about it again, because it's extremely important for several reasons. There's two main reasons, and then there's one bonus reason. So let's go with the two big, giant, important reasons first. One is protein is the most satiating of all the nutrients. So you have carbohydrates, you have fats, and you have protein. Well, people that are on high protein diets tend to eat less food because they don't feel as hungry. So that is really important. There's a lot of research on this, and it's true. Number two is protein. We need enough of it to build new lean tissue, in particular muscle mass. So if we're trying to change the shape of our body, which we should all be striving for, we should all be striving to gain some muscle mass, because if we don't have enough muscle mass, we can't stand. We can't move. As we get older, we lose muscle mass 1 to 2% per decade, roughly after 30 years of age. And then after 60, it gets a lot larger than that. I think it's roughly 6 to 7% of our lean mass we lose. So we can attenuate that by making sure we consume enough protein and making sure we do some form of resistance training. If you're on a really low calorie diet and you're not consuming enough protein, chances are you're losing muscle mass. The goal should be to lose fat mass, not muscle mass. We don't want to lose lean tissue because it's extremely hard to put on. And also lean tissue, it is kind of it requires energy to maintain. So having more lean tissue is good because you burn more calories. So protein is very satiating compared to the other macronutrients, and it helps us to maintain our lean tissue while on a diet, and also it helps us to increase our lean tissue. If we're not consuming enough protein, it's going to be really hard to put on lean muscle mass. And if you are not consuming enough protein, well, on a very low calorie diet, you will be losing muscle mass. And what's the bonus reason? Well, there's something called TEF, or TEF, the thermic effect of feeding. It's essentially the energy required to digest food. While protein, believe it or not, requires more energy to break down than carbohydrates and fat. So this doesn't really amount to that much, but it's kind of cool to know. So you may burn roughly an extra 50 to 100 calories per day if you're consuming a decent amount of protein throughout the day. So hopefully that helped. Make sure you always have enough protein throughout the day. In terms of how much should you have, talk to me about that. Each meal, you should be aiming for roughly 25 to 40 grams of protein. 25 grams of protein would be about 1 chicken breast, 1 can of tuna. Eggs are not the greatest source of protein because 1 egg is roughly 6 to 7 grams. So you'd have to have about 5 or 6 eggs. Eggs aren't bad for us. It's just they are higher in calories with the egg yolk. So that kind of bumps up the caloric intake. If you just want to go for straight protein, egg whites would be a good idea. They're very high in protein. Or you could have 1 egg or 2 eggs and then do egg whites with the rest. 0% fat Greek yogurt is a really good source. 175 grams of Greek yogurt gives us 18 grams of protein. Anyways, I hope that was useful information for you. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.